Frozen appetizers are an easy way to satisfy any party food craving, but not all frozen appetizers are created equal. Some of them are pretty darn great, while others are better left at the grocery store forever. Here's what you ought to buy and what you should leave behind. When it comes to frozen appetizers, soup dumplings might not be the first thing that comes to mind. If you've ever had the authentic version before from a Chinese restaurant, it's tough to imagine how a frozen variety of these delicately wrapped morsels could ever compare to the ones served by professional chefs. There are just certain foods that shouldn't enter the world of frozen appetizers, or so you might think. Luckily for us, a popular trader by the name of Joe took the risky leap to incorporate microwavable soup dumplings into his arsenal of products, and he absolutely crushed it. The steamed chicken, or pork and ginger, soup dumplings are ready within a few minutes, and you never have to worry about chomping into an icy center. The broth that surrounds the pork is rich and flavorful, and with every bite comes a warm flood that sends your taste buds into a mesmerizing frenzy. Mexican cuisine is tough to turn down. When aren't you in the mood to bite into a crunchy taco or quesadilla with all the fixings? But when it comes to frozen appetizers, don't be fooled when the picture on the box makes an item inside look incredible, as many companies pull the old bait and switch with food that actually isn't appealing at all. This is exactly the problem with José Olé taquitos. Don't let those crispy chicken stuffed taquitos lure you into opening your wallet. Even though you can make them in both the microwave and the oven, the end result isn't worth the effort. The tortilla is advertised as crispy and crunchy on the box, but rest assured that it's anything but. In reality, the texture is gummy, and the shredded chicken and veggies inside tend to cook into a thick molten liquid capable of scorching your throat. When it comes to these taquitos, just say,
"No way, Jose."
There are always certain appetizers that are a guaranteed hit, like veggie platters or chips and salsa. One other perennially reliable appetizer that's a little more savory is pigs in a blanket. Who can resist those mini hot dogs wrapped in a buttery and flaky crust? While hot dogs aren't exactly known for their astounding health benefits, partygoers are usually willing to set aside their nutrition concerns for a few hours. Hebrew National's pigs in a blanket are particularly perfect, as you get to enjoy the flavor of a hot dog in one bite without having to down a full link. And you should always accompany them with a bowl of zesty mustard for dipping, of course. There are few snacks more popular at gatherings than pigs in a blanket, so don't make the mistake of skipping them when assembling your appetizer plates. Now, we know what you might be thinking. Surely everyone loves jalapeno poppers. You can't go wrong with a golden crust surrounding melty cheese with a kick of heat after all. But when it comes to frozen poppers, they simply don't stack up the same way as homemade jalapeno poppers that use fresh ingredients. There are a lot of different companies that sell poppers, but unless you're ready to be disappointed, it's best to stay away.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
There are a couple of major issues with store-bought frozen poppers. First, the cheese in the middle doesn't heat up evenly, so your first bite might be cold, while the next could set your mouth ablaze. If that's not risky enough, the actual jalapenos are flimsy and rather bland. When you want something that has a spicy kick to it, these things just don't come close to leaving you satisfied. So if you have the time, do yourself a favor and put in the effort to make them yourself in the comfort of your own kitchen. Unless guests are actually visiting for a full dinner, all you need are a few trays of small bites that won't fill people up too much. This is what makes sliders so darn efficient. You can offer up the savoriness of a burger without forcing people to inhale a half-pound patty. And as any fast food connoisseur knows, no other establishment slings up sliders quite like White Castle, which is why their frozen burgers are the perfect addition to any appetizer spread. It's no secret that White Castle sliders aren't the epitome of health. In fact, they're pretty much the complete opposite. But when you're enjoying time with friends, you should live a little and allow your taste buds to travel to places they don't often venture. In just a few quick bites, everyone can enjoy a small but rich cheese-topped patty. There are also cheeseless options available if that's your preference. These sliders scratch that burger itch so many of us often get, but not in a way that leaves anyone feeling bloated. This is sure to ruffle the feathers of Totino's fanatics. As one of the most popular brands of frozen pizza rolls, it often has a special place in the middle of kitchen freezers all around the world. While the rolls might send excitement shooting through the brains of young kids who love both pizza and bite-sized snacks, they have some obvious downsides that should instantly turn off a more mature palate. Sorry, Totino's lovers, but it's time to learn the truth. On the company's website, it says the following about their pizza rolls. Imagine a pizza. Now imagine it bite-sized, baked to a golden finish, and filled with delicious toppings. While that sounds great and all, that description is far from what the rolls actually are. As they're sealed pockets of dough with a pizza filling, the cheese and marinara sauce inside reach temperatures high enough to make even the devil uncomfortable. So when you bite down into one, your brain clicks into panic mode as you suffer potential third-degree burns on your tongue. And let's be honest, the pizza flavor that erupts from inside isn't exactly like a classic New York slice. On top of all that, the ingredients are cheap and bland, so it's time to accept the truth and file Totino's pizza rolls under skip.
I can't get enough of Totino's pizza rolls. I put them in my mouth 5 times a day.
While cheese in general isn't exactly friendly towards your cholesterol levels, your palate probably feels differently. For proof, just watch as people's eyes light up when a charcuterie board makes its way from the kitchen onto the appetizer table. With so many different flavor profiles, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't have their own personal favorite cheese. But what's one way you can take cheese and make it exponentially better? Drop it in a deep fryer for an extra layer of golden crunch around the melty center, of course. This is why frozen mozzarella sticks are a must-buy for anyone who loves their marinara. Even though it's totally possible to make homemade mozzarella sticks, nobody wants to deal with a pot of boiling oil when they have company to tend to. This is where the magic of the microwave or oven comes into play. Just pile those breaded bad boys onto a tray, nuke them for a few minutes, and get ready to see smiles plastered across everyone's faces when they emerge ready to eat. Just make sure you have a hefty bowl of marinara sauce available for the full experience. In case you don't know, Spanakopita are small bite-sized morsels of phyllo dough with spinach and feta cheese. On paper, it sounds awesome. The strong flavor of the feta cuts through the buttery phyllo, and the spinach is an added bonus to get your daily dose of leafy greens. But there's an unfortunate difference between homemade Spanakopita and the frozen version. Phyllo dough is a super flaky type of breading, and it offers a delicate mouthfeel as opposed to other doughy breading that quickly fills you up. The issue with the frozen phyllo bites is the texture of the dough. It's not the flaky experience that the picture on the packaging would lead you to believe. Instead, the phyllo feels gummy, almost as though it's not cooked all the way through. This alone should be enough of a turnoff. But pair that with an often over-spinached bite without enough kick of feta, and you have yourself a losing option.
Eat this spinach!
Whether you're partying at a friend's house or eating out at a fancy Asian restaurant, dumplings are always a hit. The bite-sized dough-wrapped morsels of meat and veggies hit that umami area of the palate like a sledgehammer and always leave you wanting more. But if you're entertaining a large group, it's never cost-effective to order trays of dumplings from a local restaurant. And that's where the wonderful people at P.F. Chang's swoop in with a delicious answer. Hardcore foodies might insist that P.F. Chang's isn't real Chinese food, as they opt for something far less mainstream instead. But there's no denying that P.F. Chang's is plenty tasty, and that's why they have a whole line of frozen appetizers available. There's a bunch to choose from, but make no mistake, it's the pork dumplings that you should settle on. Ground pork, cabbage, and scallions all come together in one bite that's made even better with a hearty dunk into the signature sauce, which is included. There's no reason to take a trip all the way to a full P.F. Chang's restaurant when the frozen food section of your grocery store already has you covered. Hot Pockets are one of those convenient frozen foods that can easily satisfy kids if there's no time to make a full dinner. But try giving one to an adult and you'll likely get a totally different reaction. Commercials for Hot Pockets have touted flavorful ingredients nestled inside a crispy, crusty, tender, flaky crust. If only that were true. The crust comes out of the microwave more doughy and chewy than crispy or crusty. If that's not bad enough, the innards are frequently scalding hot. The kind of hot that turns the skin inside of your mouth to ribbons. And to top it all off, no matter which variety you choose, the ingredients are far from flavor-packed. They're cheap, full of preservatives, and completely unsatisfying.
Hot Pockets!
It's probably not that likely that pierogies pop into your head when hunting for worthwhile appetizers. They taste great, but there are a lot of people who've never had the chance to try them, so you might find it risky to include them in a snack spread. But once you try Mrs. T's pierogies, you and everyone you know should consider yourself die-hard fans. The person we have to thank for this creation is a woman named Mary Twajik. She would make homemade pierogies and sell them every week at local churches, as they were always a big hit. So her son Ted took her passion to the next level and started the Mrs. T's company so that millions more could enjoy his mum's cooking. With flavors like 4-cheese medley, cheddar and bacon, and broccoli and cheddar, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Loaded potato skins are a super popular appetizer that frequently pop up at parties. Using a scooped-out potato skin as a vessel for cheese, bacon, and any other topping your heart desires sounds like an automatic win. And if you make them yourself at home, then they are indeed a win. But if you go the frozen route, chances are you'll regret that decision. The problem with potato skins is that they cool off way too quickly. If you grab them when they're fresh out of the oven, you'll be treated to a rich potato canoe filled with gooey cheddar cheese and savory bacon. But if you let them rest for just a couple of minutes, the skins harden, leaving you with a starchy, firm bite that cancels out the taste of the other ingredients. If you've ever tried eating a hard potato, you know it's not a pleasant experience, and that's exactly what you get when you opt for frozen, loaded potato skins. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about your favorite foods are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.